Hello everybody, my name is Leo, and with this video, as you requested, we will share a direct comparison between the Valeton GP 200 LT and the Line 6 HX Stomp. First of all, we will hear the unit in action with the demo song, then we will compare the features and technical characteristics of the two units with a very detailed comparison chart. Then we will hear more sounds, also comparing the two units versus real tube amps, checking out the frequency response, the dynamic range management and the note envelope, and also the effects. And finally, I will give you my 2 cents. So, I hope you enjoy, and please don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell, as it would be of a great help. Let's start! We will now compare the two units among the following parameters: number of amps, cabs and microphone built-in, third-party IRs, number of effects and effect chain management in general, media availability, input and output types, foot switches and expression pedals, screen size and type, computer app availability, looper and drum machine, ADA conversion and USB channels, latency, current, power dimensions, weight and price. First of all, in the Valeton GP200 LT we have 71 amps, 70 cabs and no mics simulations. I mean, you cannot choose a specific mic or its position across the cab. On the other hand, in the HX Stomp we have 88 amps, 37 cabs and 16 mics, where you can change the distance of the mic but not the position. In my opinion, the mic and its position across the cab is a pretty important tool to shape our tone. Therefore, I hope that in all the future modelers the mic simulations and their position will be a standard feature. As regards third-party IRs, we have 20 user slots in the GP200 LT and 128 in the HX Stomp. In the HX Stomp you can load IRs at up to 2048 sample points, where I have not found that info for the Valeton. Let's now talk about FX and FX management. In the Valeton GP 200 LT we have more than 100 effects distributed in 11 blocks that you can arrange in whatever order you want. with no possibility to have parallel effects and with no possibility to load many instances of the same effect. In the HX Stomp we have more than 200 effects arranged in up to 8 blocks, DSP power permitting, that you can arrange in whatever position you want and with the possibility to have parallel effects. Furthermore, you can replicate the same effect block if you want, and you also have the scene or snapshot management in order to avoid gap when switching presets. Both the units offer the trails option for time effects, so here we have a pretty different approach to the effect chain management. As regards MIDI, the Valeton offers MIDI connectivity via mini jacks, where the HX Stomp has regular MIDI ports. As regards input and outputs, the Valeton has a guitar input, a mono effect loop, balanced and unbalanced outputs via TRS jacks, an headphone out and an aux in. In the HX Stomp we have a stereo input, a stereo effect loop via TRS jacks, balanced and unbalanced outputs via TRS jacks like the Valeton, and an headphone out. As regards foot switches, the Valeton has 4 with 2 inputs for control or expression pedals, where the HX has 3 with 1 input for expression or control pedals. The screen of the Valeton is 4.3 inches, where the screen of the HX Stomp is smaller at 2.4 inches. Neither of the two units offer touch-sensitive screens. Both the units offer a computer app. The Valeton offers longer looper and a drum machine, which is missing in the HX Stomp. As regards ADA conversion, the Valeton offers a 24-bit at 44.1 kHz audio interface with 6x6 USB channels and 110 dB of dynamic range. The HX Stomp offers a 24 bits at 96 kHz audio interface with 8x6 USB channels, and unfortunately no info about the dynamic range, which is a kind of a bummer. If you know it, please drop a message in the comment section below. The latency of the Valeton is 3.3 milliseconds, where the one of the HX Stomp is 2 milliseconds. If you want more info about the latency, you can check out the link in the card above or description below. As regards power needs, the Valeton requires 1000 mAh and the HX 3000. The 3000 mAh value is stated in the Line 6 website, even if many of you has reported that the unit actually requires much less power. As regards dimension and weight, the HX Stomp is smaller and lighter. And finally, as regards the price, the Valeton is cheaper. Basically, it is almost half the price compared to the HX Stomp. So finally, I would say that the main differences are in the effect chain management, where the Valeton offers more blocks, but the HX Stomp offers more flexibility, for instance allowing to load the same blocks many times, and also allowing to manage snapshots in order to seamlessly switch presets. Then I would mention that the Valeton has a bigger screen, which is handy if you want to build your preset not using the computer app. Lastly, I would mention the drum machine available in the Valeton and the more advanced audio interface features of the HX Stomp. Obviously, the Valeton is much cheaper, with a price that is almost half the price of the one of the HX Stomp. We will return back to these main differences in my 2 cents section of this video. Let's now hear some more sounds. We will now compare the modelers versus 2 real valve amps, a jumpered Plexi that is connected to a greenback speaker and with everything to none but the volume that is at 8 for both the channels, and a Fender Deluxe Reverb connected to a Jensen speaker with everything to none. In the modeler I have loaded their simulations of the real amps with the IR I have made of the speakers I'm using in both the real amps. We will be testing the frequency response, the dynamic range management and the note envelope of the real deal versus the modelers, playing few licks with the guitar. I have already recorded the DI tracks of the licks in my digital audio workstation, so we are sure that we are gonna send the same exact lick to the modelers and the real amp, without introducing little human errors derived from the fact that it is impossible to play the same lick many times without little variations. These are the 5 licks I will be using. I will use the first to match the frequency response. I mean, we will hear the amps and the modelers with the same settings, and then I will tweak the modelers to sound as close as possible to the real deal. Then with the second lick we will hear the bass frequency. Then with the third lick we will test the dynamic response of the modelers. I mean the way the modelers cleans up and breaks up according to the volume of your guitar, or how soft or hard you push the strings. And with the fourth and fifth lick we will check out the note envelope management. Then we will test also 3 effects for each modeler: a chorus, actually a CE1 chorus, a ping pong delay, and finally a plate reverb. I've tried to match the types of effects and settings for each modeler, even if it is almost impossible, as each modeler has his own parameters even for the same effect. Therefore, it is, as I was saying, impossible to make a scientific comparison. But at least I hope you will be able to hear, how to say, the character of each modeler, so that you can decide yourself which one you prefer. I will let you now hear the test, and I will not say anything, so that you can make up your own idea without being influenced by mine. And we will discuss the results later on in my 2 cents section of this video. Let's start! Final considerations here, and please notice that these are gonna be my personal opinions for my specific use case, and of course you may not agree with me, and this is totally fine. Let me share the stronger selling points in my opinion for each unit in specific use cases. Home recording. Well, here I think that the HX Stomp has two advantages that are the 8x6 USB channels and the possibility to reach 48 kHz, actually even overcoming 48 kHz. That is the frequency that I always use, compared to the 44.1 kHz of the Valeton. Live use. Well, I think that both the units are more oriented for home or recording use. But in any case, for live use, the GP200 LT has two slight advantages over the HX Stomp, that are the one more foot switch and a double input to be used in order to connect external controllers. Easiness of use. Well, here it depends. They are both pretty easy to be used, but I find that the bigger screen and the row of switches that provide us with a direct access to the effects give a slight advantage to the Valeton in terms of easiness of use. Amp and effects sound. If you hear at the demo song, I think that it is pretty difficult to tell which is which. Then, in the more sound section of this video, we have heard an in-depth tone comparison. As regards overdriven tones, both the Plexi simulations were pretty good. I would say that the Valeton was the one that needed less tweaking, just having to increase a tiny bit the treble. Also, the HX was pretty good, even if it required more tweaking. As regards the clean Fender Deluxe Reverb, both the GP200 and the HX required just to increase the high frequency. Please let me know your opinions and findings in the comment section below. I'm really curious to know what you think about the tone differences of these units. As regards effects, I think that this is just a matter of taste. I would just say that I prefer a tiny bit more the HX for the delays, as they are a tiny bit less intrusive in the repetitions, where in the Valeton I had to decrease a lot the mix level in order the repetition not to be too much intrusive. But as I was saying, it is just a matter of taste. As regards effects management, well, I would say that the HX has an advantage over the Valeton. The Valeton offers more blocks in the signal chain, with 11 blocks versus the 8 of the HX, but the HX has the snapshot function to switch presets seamlessly, and you can load the same block, the same effect block many times, even with parallel effects. Of course, it really depends if these functionalities are valuable for you. So overall, I think that here we have two pretty nice options with some plus for the Valeton, as the extra foot switch or the control input, and some for the HX, as the snapshot function or the 8 USB channels. And obviously the biggest advantage of the Valeton is actually the price, as it is almost half the price of the HX. This is obviously my point of view, and I would like to know your opinions and which one of the two units you would choose in your use cases. And also if the sound differences that you can check out in the demo song or in the more sound section of this video are a key deciding factor for you. So please let me know in the comment section below your very precious and valuable opinions. These were my final 2 cents. We have now reached the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed, and if you did it, please subscribe to my channel, ring the notification bell and leave a thumb up. It would be of a great help. If you're interested in my IRs or in my camper profiles, you can check out the link in the card above or description below, where there is also a link to a playlist of songs of mine. Thank you so much for watching, and see you soon in the next video. Bye bye.